Welcome to the Be Happy Now show. Flex your soul connection muscle and be your inner guide to fulfillment and purpose. I'm Claudia-Sam. If you know that you're here for a bigger reason, this is the place to be. Together, we ditch the self-care guilt and quit the go with less fear and more trust. Tune in to living life in alignment with your full potential. The Be Happy Now show starts now. Welcome to the Be Happy Now show. I am uber, super duper excited to have my friend and soul sister, Carrie Suwal, here on the show today. And before I introduce her, the show today is all about healing using your intuition and energy, as per the title of Carrie's new book that I'm also super duper uber excited to share. Hence, why I wanted to start the show or this episode today with a quick piece or part that I read that I just keep getting shivers every time I read a next page. My excitement will come through by me speaking too fast or like stumbling on the words like you just heard. So let's just please take a deep breath in and out and hear these words from Carrie's book. Continually feeding negative thoughts causes you to live in a constant state of negativity and fear. Fear peels your skin away from the loving infrastructure of your soul. You have creative control in how you perceive the world. When you take back your conscious control, you get to decide how you want to feel. When you operate from your base of love, you bring your deepest self forward. This ubiquitous love vibration is masked with fears, societal, formed from your experiences to protect you, inherited or learned through your lineage, from your direct community, and from your disparaged ego. When you surrender and release these fear-based conditions and beliefs, what remains is the pure vibration of love. And to ignore your fearful thoughts is like drinking toilet water while convincing yourself it's spring water. It is human to have fearful thoughts. To ignore them would be to ignore your humanness. Carrie, hi.
Hello.
I was laughing so hard when I read your metaphors in the book. It's so good. It's so good. Welcome. I'm so glad that you're here.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Let's introduce you a little bit, okay? Because for those who don't know, Carrie Suwal is a professional intuitive. She's an energy healer and now author of her new book, Heal Using Intuition and Energy, launching on August 8th. Carrie teaches tens of thousands of students on Insight Timer all about channeling, accessing joy, balancing chakras, and more. And she went through her fair share of mental health challenges and struggles, which led her to write this book. And I met Carrie in 2017 when I lived in Canmore, Alberta. I was drawn to Carrie's Reiki share events. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, I remember.
And it was like a magnet in energy between us. And we quickly became friends and soul sisters. And Carrie she became my massage therapist, my energy healer, my reflexology and Reiki teacher, my vegan ambassador.
And you became my coach, my teacher, and just one of my best friends. So I felt that magnetic attraction in that moment too. It was so special, and I'm happy.
So special. By touching each other's feet, okay? Because in Reiki share, that's what we did. I remember meeting someone for the first time, touching each other's feet. Anyways, Carrie became a friend who I feel I can share my truth with. I feel like I can be with her without judgment. I feel safe with her, loved, accepted, honored, celebrated, and I'm beyond excited to share her new book. Carrie, today we're going to be talking about healing. And I know we wanted to have a discussion because both of us, we feel like, do we really need suffering to heal, right? Do we need the darkness to get better. So let's start it off there if you're okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I was meditating a bit before this today, and that word healing is so, it's such a big word. There's so much attached to it. And like, what does it really mean? Healing, when we get into it. And I looked at, okay, so there's healing, and it's kind of in this middle field. And then we have suffering on one end and health on the other end, we can say. And I could just see suffering as like this darkness and this pain, and then health as this vibrancy and openness. And then in the middle, we have healing, where they come together, health and suffering. And it's, I think, one of the most fascinating things we get to experience in this life is that contrast, right? Of the dark and the light and the in between. And I think that's a really important thing to bring to mind, is just taking that heaviness of that word healing and seeing it more as this human experience that we get to come here, we get to show up for. And fortunately, you know, if we view it through that perception of fortune, that this is actually a really good and beautiful thing, because we get to feel the progress, we get to step back into love when we're in a space of fear or darkness or pain. So that pain and that suffering can really give us those opportunities to step into that deeper sense of self, that deeper truth of that loving awareness and consciousness.
So would you say that when we, because I'm hearing like, yeah, there's these extremes, and maybe the contrast I heard you say, and then do you think that when we access healing from that place of suffering, that it's the mind that will come in making us think it needs to be a certain way, which makes it less fun, which gives healing a bad like reputation?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so heavy also because we identify with our pain and our suffering, and we say, I am this mental health disorder, or I am this chronic pain, and it is who I am. It structures my life, which is just BS. It's so not true. It's just a experience. We are the ones experiencing it. We are not the experience. And that can really help us come at it with more strength, more power, more love, and more control in the situation too, realizing I am not this thing. This is just a thing that I am feeling and witnessing and experiencing.
Hence, perhaps why most of us will say, or my depression, my anxiety, my headache, my. So
Yeah.
is it the same thing? Would you say that that would be identifying with the pain in that way too, when we use the word mine?
Yeah, I think so. And it's like taking ownership, right? This is mine. I own this depression. I own this pain. And, you know, why can't we lighten it up and say, I am experiencing this pain. I am experiencing this condition. And I think that gives us that little bit of distance from it, so we can see the greater picture of, yes, I'm experiencing this illness, but I'm also experiencing so much more, these amazing relationships, or this amazing work, or this amazing self-care, and, you know, lessons that I'm learning about myself. I am experiencing these things. And that gives us a bit of a gap between the I and the what it is we're experiencing. Yeah.
Thank you so much for bringing that here. Also, what I got, it feels to me like one time you had shared with me when we were practicing Reiki, and you were teaching me how to use energy. And I remember you saying, it's not your energy, because if you give of your energy, you'll be depleted. And I have this image of it coming down from above, from the divine, from positive energy source, from somewhere else, because I am part of that. We are all part of that. Hence, I can tap into that tap to channel the energy. So perhaps what I'm seeing, hearing is that, this suffering is the experience that is in flow or in motion through the human body, until healing perhaps happens, so that it no longer is feeling like it has to live through the human body. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I get this imagery as you're describing that. And absolutely, when we get into that field of energy, uh, you're right. It's a everything's impermanent, right? Everything's in motion. But as soon as we start to believe and identify with these things, then we're holding on to it, and we're holding on to that pain and that suffering and that blocked energy. But it's only blocked because we're consistently feeding that belief that it's blocked, because we are this field of oneness, this field of energy that's everywhere. So the moment that we free ourselves from that belief and say, I am much more than this thing, I am everything, then we open ourselves to that beautiful universal force and let it become a part of our healing journey. Let go of the beliefs and let's see what what really happens when we're more open-minded to the possibility of change. Everything does change. Everything does die and is reborn in every moment. So if we can allow ourselves the beautiful belief of that, then that's exactly how it's going to flow. Our beliefs do shape the movement and the flow of energy. So that's really important to keep in mind when it comes to our healing journey, is what are we thinking about this? What are our beliefs? Because that's actually going to shape what our healing journey looks like for us.
So are you saying that, for example, if we come back to what you were explaining at the beginning of how healing can sit in the middle of the healthy, happy, and the suffering and pain, that when we intentionally choose to step out of any of the extremes and feel whole, access who we really are, that healing can happen on its own, and or it can happen with us intentionally choosing for it to happen.
Yes, absolutely. I love how you kind of pulled those pieces together, the whole picture. And you're right, it's both. I feel like, we can have these beliefs, right? The beliefs are shaping our reality of it's one or it's the other. It's I have to totally accept this thing and totally surrender and let go, and the universe is just going to come in and heal me. Or I have to do it all on my own and I'm going to make this happen. I am super, super focused. And, we have, again, these two extremes, but why can't it be both? Why not have it working from both sides, inside and out, and give us, a double benefit in our healing journey? Double
So
source.
true.
Yeah.
Double source. Yeah, double source. Okay, this morning I did a meditation on Insight Timer. It was about the Tao, and connecting to the Tao. And I'd never actually done it that way, where there was an intention for the connection to the earth. There was an intention connected to spirit. And then there was an intention for our connection to the Tao, to the bigger energy. And I thought, oh, this is an interesting also way of going about being connected on all these levels. And so basically where I want to get to is that the duality has been very present in my life too. And I think you've experienced it as well, where, okay, we're on this transformation journey. We are healing ourselves. We are healers. We want to, I guess for me, I've been seeing healing as it needs to fix it. Healing means, and you address that in your book too.
Yeah.
About how my vision of healing was, well, it's because I'm broken somewhere. It's because something is wrong. And so it's like, oh, so there's a right and the wrong again, that duality of, no, there's only this one way that you get to be in your life when it comes to choosing a job or choosing the beliefs that you hold. And often it's automatic the way we act and go through life. And when we choose healing, for me anyway, up until this moment, it has been, I'm choosing healing because the beliefs are wrong.
Yes. And such a great point. Like the Tao, coming to that space of kind of, I don't know, when I connect to that, I just feel like the one who witnesses, everything's balanced. We're just okay with everything. We're watching it happen in our lives. And we get into those labels you said of, I feel broken, or this feels wrong and I need to fix it. Well, why do we have to label it as bad, broken, or wrong? Why can't we just say, okay, this is what is? This is one, small piece of my life. It's as big as I make it out to be. If I focus all my attention on this one piece of my life, this one negative thing, then that will be my life. But if I give it this smaller amount of story, of narrative in my life, then it's going to be a smaller piece of my greater picture. And that's the thing, like I'm saying story and I'm saying picture, but we're really the one, we're the artist painting the picture. We're the author writing the story or the reader reading the story. So I really like, to me, that's the Tao, coming into that space of the reader, the writer, the artist, and not the artwork or the book.
Oh my God, I just got shivers. Yes. And I also saw your energy and your body going back, like that leaning back energy of we're just, we're playing, we're in the flow, we're seeing it happen instead of being engaged with it. I also like to sometimes chat with my clients about what are you entertaining? What thoughts are you fueling that then create this imagination? Because the imagination is strong. Gosh, we can make up so many movies in the mind, especially of the worst case scenarios.
Oh, yeah.
So tell us about your recent healing that allowed you to step into the viewer, the channeler, to write this book, because I was also part of your journey when you wrote the first version of this book that is completely different. So I'd love for you to just share with us that healing, that was it a healing that allowed for you to offer the world this new version of your book?
Oh gosh. Yeah. Thank you for asking me that. Something comes to my mind when writing this book, and I talk about it in the book. I've had chronic pain for 11, almost 12 years in my back from a car accident. And that pain really got the best of me. I became that pain quite often, and I felt like that pain ran my life. And I tried all types of therapies, spiritual, natural, physical, therapy, talk therapy, which is always so wonderful and beneficial, I find. But I was still having this pain, I couldn't do anything to get rid of it. And the area it was in is neck. And I think of throat chakra energy, expressing the truth. And I just had the thought of, I should write a book. It was just a thought, like a simple thought. And instantly my throat closed. It was so tight, and my whole body almost just turtled into this little shell. And I felt myself getting so small. And all these beliefs came up in one moment of, I can't do that. I'm not smart enough. I have nothing to share. I'm so broken. How could I write a book on healing? And I knew in that moment, okay, this is my opportunity I stay in the shell, and I know it's a lie. I've done so much work with myself, and I don't want to feed this old story anymore of I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I can't share my truth with the world, and I have nothing to share. Of course I have something to share. Everyone has something wonderful to share. Everyone is a wise teacher, and I see that in everyone. And so in that moment, I made that decision, and I pushed through, and it was so uncomfortable. And I started writing. It was the most joyful thing I've ever done. And my pain is gone completely. That chronic pain, since I started writing, it's been 3-4 years that I've been working on this book. And amazingly,
celebration sticks.
Yeah. I love your celebration sticks. Yes. So it's gone. And I know, like, I can tie it to that moment of, okay, I had this blockage, this energetic, emotional blockage, and I made a conscious decision, but I took the actions in the decision. I fought through spiritually in that decision of choosing soul growth. I knew this was the right step for me. I could have stayed in my uncomfortable space and not done it, but I didn't. And I pushed through, and here I am still fighting that imposter syndrome, but I'm showing up every day on the battle line and I'm saying, I can do this and I'm worthy. And writing the book, I channeled it in the beginning. I channeled a lot of it, meaning coming straight from intuition. But then I realized, yes, I want this book to come from my higher self, from universal consciousness, but I also want it to come through my human experience, the pain I've been through, the emotional trauma I've been through, and artistry, the creativity within me. And then I revised this book quite a few times, but each time it was just so much fun. It was like creating a piece of art, every line, making sure that I love it and it brought me joy and it felt really good to me, as opposed to just being the vessel, I guess, for spirit to write through me, or higher self to write through me. I got to bring in all of me, the pieces that feel quote unquote broken too, and share their words and their side, and share my inner child, and be playful in it. It's a book about healing and it's a self-help book, but I feel like the way I wrote it, it's almost like a novel sometimes.
Well, the way you wrote these stories and the storytelling, I remember sending you a message being like, what? Where is this? This is amazing. It felt like an 11th sense that you have of just writing this story in a way that I really felt like I was leaning forward to learn more and to just go page after page. So yeah, that storytelling is definitely there. And thank you for sharing your story and that journey, and being also a case study for yourself and for your book of, I tuned in to this message and I listened to it. I would love to bring our conversation towards the control that we might have when it comes to healing, because what I'm hearing from you is, in the 11 years of chronic pain, the control part wanted to go to therapy and this healer and that session and this program and all of it. So would you say that that was the control, or the mind thinking it had control? And now the way that you channeled the book and listened to your intuition, even to share your human experience, is there control there too? Like, what's your experience of control with healing?
Yeah, control, I found in the beginning of my healing journey with the chronic pain, was really coming from fear. Control can come from fear or love. And the fear was, I'm going to be broken forever. I'm going to have this pain forever. I have to fix this. This is just not me and not who I want to be. And it wasn't really shifting. The therapies and the things I go to, I'm still so grateful I went, because they would give me moments of relief, maybe for a day, or if I'm lucky, 2 days. And that was wonderful, because it gave me that reminder of hope, right? That hope is possible, and that there is hopefully a possibility that I can get better. And that's still in that fear vibration though. The love, so stepping into love is kind of letting go of, okay, future is a little bit fear-based for me around this. If I look at it with love, true love is accepting and saying, okay, this is here. It sucks, it's uncomfortable, but I'm okay with it. I'm still functioning. I'm still able to do all these other things. And I'm actually really grateful. And I would say this a lot about my chronic pain, is because it led me to becoming a registered massage therapist, which I love that work. And then it led me into healing work. And I love that work. And I know for certain, if I didn't have that initial car accident and that pain, it wouldn't have led me to where I am today. And that's really easy to see once you've gone through it. But when you're in the pain and you don't know what beautiful gifts it's going to bring you, all hope is gone. It's really, really hard to have hope and come at that control aspect with love. So that's something I really talk about in the book, is what would it look like, or what could the possible gifts be if you could go into your future self and look back on this, and whether you're looking at it from a fully healed space where this condition or illness is healed, or we fully accepted it, what is the gift there? So we can see that and bring it into our awareness now, and come at control with love now. So if I'm maybe it's diet or exercise or therapy or whatever we're doing, we're doing it for this benefit in this moment and not this fear of some future that is gone, but some hope that we're going to have a brighter future because of what we're doing right now.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. It also inspires me for our listeners who might be scared of healing, to share that healing can happen in many different ways. And that's what you offer in the book, the opportunities to see healing from going through a transformation journey to choosing what your intention is when you wake up in the morning. Healing has many different energy vibrations, I feel like, and I want to inspire you to make it your own journey. And Carrie, we have 2 minutes left. I'd love for you to tell us, people can book one-on-one healing sessions with you through Insight Timer. Is that true?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And those are, we do some channeling and some energy work. So it's really just, honestly, it's me sharing what your intuition is trying to share with you already, probably has been sharing with you already. But when I share it with you, you're like, oh, this is a total stranger who knows nothing about me. Now, suddenly you're taking these messages very seriously, and okay, that's not my imagination. This is actually my soul trying to speak to me, saying, here's what we need to do to live our best life. And so that's what I love in those sessions, is it's usually not like a big shocker to people. It's a shocker in that it's coming from somebody else. And they're like, okay, wow, I really have to take this seriously now. And giving them that clarity of the way forward and it's usually always choosing that path of love, listening to that inner gut, those instincts, because there is an inner knowing. So I love to help guide people back towards their inner knowing.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, we could keep talking for hours. If you do want to book a one-on-one healing session with Carrie, go directly on Insight Timer, the free meditation app, and look up Carrie Suwal's teaching profile. And before we go, Carrie is launching her book on August 8th, 2022. You can also buy her book, Heal Using Intuition and Energy. Go to healingearththerapy.com. Thank you so much, Carrie, for having been with me today. I have a feeling you'll be back on the Be Happy Now show. And the Be Happy Now show was named together on the pier here where I live. Remember?
I remember. We were just on the lake supping, and and I said, okay, what's your gut instinct? What's the name? And you just said it. And I got shivers. Oh, that is it. You knew. That was that inner knowing.
Yeah. And you said, okay, stop thinking. That's it. Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. Thank you so much. I love you. And thank you so much
for having me. Thank you so much. Awesome.
Yay. Bye, everyone. See you again soon. You've been listening to the Be Happy Now show with me, Claudia-Sam. Flex your soul connection muscle and be your inner guide to fulfillment and purpose. Tune in live every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on transformationtalkradio.com. You are worthy of being you and of connecting to what stops you from living the life you are meant to live. Access more soul connection coaching at claudiasamcoaching.com.